Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Space Engineers. Dragonworm here, and today I am going to show you sort of an update on the Sentinel, some new things since I've been putting quite a few hours really into the interior. You may or may not actually recognize this area. It's the kind of that front cockpit area, but it's got a lot of different these things, ramps. I really find that ramps, especially in a ship like this, I kind of wanted to make it feel a little bit more imposing, slightly more claustrophobic inside, because there's a lot of really tall ceilings, and that works really good when you have like big narrow hallways and you want almost like a Gothic style architecture thing going on. But that really doesn't work for a ship like this. I think this looks much more militaristic and imposing with all, like, you know, the little rivets, and I guess they call them greebles or something like that in the I guess art design sort of way. But yeah, I've done quite a bit of changes to this, made things look a little bit smaller, a little bit more polished, added some more lights where I thought it was necessary. But that's really only part of this update that I want to show you guys. So I will give you a bit of the rundown, a bit of the walkthrough here. Go up. There's really nothing new up here, but I'll show it to you anyway. I'll give you a preview. Those right there, you'll probably notice that those are new. There's also some other new things that you might be noticing out there. For new things actually, and we will get to all of that in this video. But the reason that I've added all this stuff is that there's no way for this thing to defend itself. They recently released multiplayer, which I have my own reservations about. I really think it was too soon. I don't think that the game is in a state right now really for that to be useful, because we don't have survival mode. We're missing a whole lot of features that I think could really have made the debut of multiplayer better, but I do know that they also have to maintain, or rather kind of co-develop multiplayer and single player in order to get things to work right. But I would like to have seen a little bit more as far as single player content, or just overall game content, things that would have been across both before they would have implemented that. But the community was screaming for it, so they buckled, and that's what happened. So yeah, you'll probably notice this was once a really big room. Now it's just a rather big room. You'll notice that I've added in some of the corners, like I really hated like the really extra blocky look of a lot of this stuff, so I tried to smooth it out a little bit by cutting down the edges, making the rooms a little bit less square with the 90-degree angles as much as I reasonably could. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, I added, I think this room is actually almost entirely the same. I've cut off some areas to make the shape here a little bit more squared up. But yeah, you'll notice this area in here is entirely new. Again, I went kind of ramp crazy, but I think the overall effect makes it look really nice. Going through here, some more of that. All of this was actually, was visible. I'm actually pushing my hand out toward the screen as though you guys can see my gestures, but I think you get the point. It was much more spacious, and now it's a little bit more confined, which was something I wanted. So here I added a little gigantic cargo container, additional assemblers. This again exits to the back. But yeah, I just think when you're looking, you know, lengthwise, rather than seeing a whole bunch of like boxy looking things, being able to see, you know, some edging, some angling, kind of helps with the overall impact there. Let's see, we will go down that way a little bit later. I just want to show you what's kind of new in the rest of the ship here. A lot of changes towards these back areas. So when you go back this way, not a lot of changes to the barracks overall. I didn't really do much with that. I don't think I did much else. No, here that was always done, and I think that's the reason I really used the ramps, was to kind of fit with that overall design motif. So we've got that going on. I'm going to run down through here. This is going to be back to that, I kind of call it this the tactical bridge, because it looks like it's a little bit better defended and it's got all of that. But yeah, back here, this is just kind of like a main hallway area. Not much that I really did with this. Did add, I think, a few more lights though. Originally I was saying that this was going to be the mess hall. It may end up being that, but I think it also would be kind of cool if it was like a shooting gallery, even though it's kind of point blank distance, but maybe like a training room, who knows. Let's see, going back here, yes, okay, these rooms, these were pretty much empty. Now I really changed these rooms. These rooms, I'm most proud of these. Looks really cool. I think I took the whole ramp idea to the max that I could by making things look really unique. Little kind of imposing, monolithic almost, with these collection of crates. And this would kind of either be like almost like an embassy, like if there's any foreign dignitaries or any like government officials for some reason that they'd go around on a battleship, this would probably be where it would be. I'm kind of using this as like the deluxe bed or something like that, and this would kind of be like that big area kind of where you store things. Not really like an armoire, that's more for like TVs, but I think you get the point. This particular one would be more like for like the highest ranking officer on the ship, like the captain's quarters, and then this is like a little secondary like cubbyhole area. I haven't really made it into anything yet. Let's see, going through here, there's a slightly larger one down this way that has mostly the same overall design elements. Change it a little bit though. I had this like it's like lit area, and then the same kind of general idea back here. A couple more crates, you know, because the dignitaries always got to have, you know, the best room. Slightly bigger, designs a little bit more imposing. They have a couple more crates, so you know we won't have any of those you know, dignitaries complaining that they don't have the best accommodations. Let's see, over here, no, this is right back where we were. See, I'm still getting used to my own insanity when I design this, because this is like the third iteration of an interior I've made. It's so different every time I do this, and I spent so much time like just making sure these angles, like the boxes, didn't look quite so boxy. This one, I think I probably could have done better on, but I still think it looks better than it did before with a bunch of stacked interior blocks. This is now the rear of the ship. Let's see. I kind of filled in everything. It's most noticeable in the bottom areas, so I'll just kind of run through here, but you guys kind of get the idea here. Let's see. I think there's more. Yeah, this is just the same area, just on the other side of the ship. But there's an area, I think, down. Yes, I think this is it. This is another area where you can kind of get up and down through the ship. So I'll kind of go down this way. Still some exposed kind of exterior bulkhead walls, but what are you gonna do? That's best I can do with what I've got right now. I didn't really plan out the interior as much as I did the exterior. Let's see here, now we're down a level. So confused. Okay, this is just another emergency medical room with some medical supply crates. Same thing here. This is, I think this goes to the engine room. Oh, finally, okay, I did get something right. Yeah, so that's all engine room. Like closing doors behind me sometimes. I think going back this way. I think you guys are actually hearing a plane overhead now, if you can hear that. Let's see. Things are getting super laggy. Oh, okay, this is actually where I wanted to go anyway. So this is kind of like a narrow hallway area, but it has, you know, little inlets here and there. Yeah, so this would go all the way through from the back to the engine area to the briefing room that I showed you guys in the last video. So that's where this is. This helps to kind of cut through the ship, and the lower sections helps personnel get to and from different places, just in case there's enemy boarders. I added, you know, 4 assemblers over here. It's mirrored on the other side of the ship, because sometimes you know, even a battleship is going to have to start making its own materials, be a little bit self-sufficient when it's separated from a different vessel. And these are all cargo containers coating the ceiling of these areas. But these are little kind of like, I guess if somebody downloads this from the Steam Workshop, I will eventually put this up when I feel like I'm satisfied with how it's going. But I like the shape of this little, I think it's what, an octagon, maybe a hexagon, I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, this would be like an octagonal room, which I really think it helps make the shape look a little bit more unique. So yeah, I'm happy with that. That's pretty much the same all through both sides of this and everything like that. I think it's the same here, maybe? Yep, same here. So that's all well and good. Going over here now. I've basically shown you all the major upgrades that I've done. I think it looks a lot more polished than it did before. I really wasn't proud so much of the interior of this ship before I made these updates, and I may do a few more minor ones, but it's definitely more towards the completed side than not. So let's go ahead over here, close this off. I'm probably heading more towards the back of the ship, I can't tell. And yep, I'm turned around again. Great. Let's see here, this is more towards the front. Check here. I think I did add a few different new things here compared to what I did before. Let me go downstairs here. Yeah, I added these things to this level. But let's actually go outside now, and I will show you guys the turrets. Let's go up through here. We'll go around this side. So this is one, again, if you guys will remember, one of the main exits, airlock areas. And okay, here we go. Okay, so if you turn on the jetpack, it'll be a little bit easier to get around. And inertial dampeners will be good. And here. Until they get these sorts of things working, and depending on how powerful they are, I'm hoping they're not like, for example, that these things will automatically target ships from, like, for example, once they implement factions, like you label a faction as an enemy, and then it automatically will target ships that try to attack you or come into range. But this, Last Stand Gamers came out with an absolutely incredibly amazing, useful turret tutorial. I've slightly modified his design. He had a triple-barreled version, but I believe on Battleship Sentinel, the turrets that are in this position in that are only double-barreled. So I used that. I also included his Last Stand Gamers iron sights, which are pretty cool and useful. And I also kind of prettied up the way they're attached, so they're not just standing there. They've got these like kind of extra greebled reinforced areas. I also did a little bit more reinforcing, so these, every layer except for the top is triple thick. So hopefully that'll provide a modicum of extra protection for it. And this was created, if you guys will watch his video, he does an amazing tutorial. I'm not even going to try to compare to it. But basically you just you pop in a small ship, you make a platform, you pop it in there with landing gear, you put a cockpit like this on the block, you lock the landing gear, and then you delete the cockpit, and what it does, it still keeps the landing gear stuck, so it's actually really useful. You can also use it, and I've seen I think Brad Fusion, you can actually put like little nameplates on the sides of your ships using those landing gear, and then delete the cockpit on it. But I know what you guys all want to see. You want to see how this thing works. So we'll go ahead and we'll pop inside here. T, really nice visibility. I'll use 2. I'll kind of be real gentle with this. If you're not careful, this thing will wildly spin about. See, yeah, those are the 2 things. So the iron sights sort of work, but they're splayed out a little differently. There's 2 rocket launchers in each side cannon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot at my own ship here, and as you can see, it pretty much devastates what it touches. Let's see, I'll shoot more. So yeah, hopefully that's not killing you, you headphone users there. I don't really know how that, if I turn the volume on the game down enough. But yeah, this thing can go up fairly high, can go down fairly low, a decent range of motion. Oops, yeah, what I just did there was I slammed it down a little hard. So if I come out of it, and I'll show you guys, wait, turn 0. Yep, see, I think I damaged this side a little bit. I think the rocket launcher in there still safe, still functions, but I've been thinking of adding brakes to the vertical and vertical axis so that it doesn't basically tear itself apart, because if you wildly, like, you know, unless you have the mouse sensitivity really low, it's not going to be super useful for you. So that's basically how that works. Kind of rip through the whole thing here. Bam, bam. Okay. Yeah. So again, the armor is still light. They haven't implemented the heavy armor yet. But yeah, it's a really cool, really useful. Now I can actually defend myself. But when you try to copy this ship into like another world, for example, the game doesn't know that you want to copy this, because this is actually a completely separate vessel that's just technically docked to this, so it won't copy any of that. It also won't copy any of these, which reminds me, I will show you guys how that section works too. So we'll go here. I think I've kind of spoiled it a little bit. You can probably guess some foreshadowing how you access that area, but we will do that in a second. So basically, let's say everything's going to hell, your ship's just getting ripped apart to the point that it's a lost cause. Well, you'll see up here, these are actually escape hatches, emergency escape hatches, and I love the fact that you can kind of use these on half blocks, because I created a little, whoops, okay, I got launched there for a second, but this is kind of like an airlock. So you go like this, you open the other door, you try to kind of get yourself through it a little bit here, and boom, okay, and then you activate this. This is the cockpit. You hit Y to turn on the reactors, hit P to disengage the brakes, and then you just kind of blast away there. Provides a unique look at the ship. You can see, oh, look at all the damage, we're really screwed. And then this thing just kind of like, whoa, flips around really, really fast, and you can see this thing accelerates pretty well. It's just this giant, I actually use this because in this world, this ship is not on the same plane as the default world axis. Like if you look here, I'll show you, this is actually a station platform I made here, or there was one, this was docked to it. You see how it's on like a weird angle? So I had to use this, basically hit P once these got here, and I had to actually move this around down to there. So this was actually originally a construction vessel, and I was like, wait a minute, this could really be useful as an escape pod, because it's very small, would probably be relatively hard to hit, and it goes really quick. And it can kind of spin around, do whatever it needs to do, get you where you need to be, and then dock someplace else. So that's kind of like a wall hugger kind of thing, and there are 8 of these. So for example, if you guys want to have like a 8 versus 8, you've got like 8 people. If it's a 16-person server, you got 8 people in each one of these. You know, you went ahead and you built these, which it's actually very easy to do if you follow his tutorial. The only difference between his and mine is that, again, there's one turret here that's missing in mine. I couldn't do the side pincer on the, I think he calls them muzzle brakes, so I just did vertical ones. And it's a little bit narrower. Count out the number of blocks here. It's the same height, 7. If you only do 6 in height, you can't do this upper bar, and it doesn't look as nice. Because I really think it blends really well, makes it a little bit harder to tell from, like, let's say for example a distance from here, it's a little bit hard to tell where the person in the cockpit is, and hopefully by the time you get close enough you will have been blown out of the sky. So we will go up here, use S, and I will once again dock here with the with the emergency hatch area. And actually what makes me really happy with this is that this is the way it worked even in Karenak's design. So let me go up here, and then you can even use these blue guides to see if your ship is properly aligned. Then you hit Y, and you hit T, and then you're done. So I probably could have done a little bit better of a job, but it keeps things looking a little uniform, which is always good. And then usually it's easy if you just hit X, turn off the that, and then boom, you're already down again. Then I always turn off the dampeners. Go ahead and I'll close these up. T and T. So yeah, that's also another way. Like, let's say an emergency crew needs to get on to do some repairs. Let's say it's a dead vessel and they need to get in, they can always do that. So that's pretty much it for the update on the Sentinel. I'm probably going to work on this maybe just over this weekend to do a little bit more polishing, maybe do some things with that room. But since there won't be any major updates to the game as per Keen Software House, I think I'd be safe, releasing this. It's not like, they're going to enable turrets for the big ships, and the whole using small ship turrets will become obsolete idea. So I will catch you next time, guys. Leave a like if you liked.